Greetings and salutations, ladies and gentlemen. Zoop here, and today we have a review of the French Tier 8 Cruiser Bayard. You'll want to take a hard look at this ship, because it is very much a Tier 8 Henri, and it's a hell of a lot of fun to play. But before I get into that, let's look at the base stats of the Bayard. First, a quick side note. Forgive me for I have sinned. I didn't realize I had not selected the auto-replenish on my premium consumables, so I fought the round you're watching right now without them. Not that it really mattered, though. So, on to the Bayard. You have 34,700 hit points and 4 triple turrets that boast 152mm guns. Don't let the fact that these are only a tad under 6 inches scare you, though. You've got a reload of 7.5 seconds and a firing range of 16.44 kilometers. Fire chance is 12% on your HE, and shell velocity is 870 meters per second for both shell types. You've got 3 9-kilometer 60-knot torpedoes on both sides, which boast generous firing angles. AA has a max firing range of 5 kilometers with the option to use defensive fire. Max speed on the Bayard is 34 knots, which becomes higher with Sierra mics and even faster still with speed boost. Your turning circle is 730 meters with a rudder shift of 9.3 seconds. Concealment is 12.24 kilometers, but of course, you can get that down to 10.7 kilometers. Bayard is effectively an evolution of the de Grasse, adding another main turret to it, so it shares some similarities, but there is so much more to it. So now for the meat. Let's review this French beauty, shall we? First, offensively, this ship holds its own. Its shells may be small, but they reload relatively quick, they're very accurate, and they do pack a mean punch, especially the HE. Even against tier 10 ships you can do decent damage, though against the more hardened battleships it gets a little trickier. You'll see 5,000 HE damage only to get 8 bounced shells the next salvo. The good thing is you're still setting fires and doing damage that way. In your own tier, you're a menace. Where Bayard really shines is also in destroyer hunting. Fast and capable with Hydro, if you decide to slap RPF on this ship, you can completely wreck a destroyer's day. I do not feel outgunned at all when I'm in a tier 10 battle in this ship, and this ship does fine at tier 10. Also, you've got torps with fairly decent firing angles, but I wouldn't make it a point to use them. Overall, I give Bayard an 8.5 offensively. Its guns can be temperamental against some more hardened tier 10s, but overall, she's solid. Now let's talk about survivability. I know we have maneuverability to cover, and speed falls under that, but speed is also a part of your survivability. It's hard to hit speedy ships, and this ship's maneuverability is one of its greatest aspects. She's a sly little minx and hard to get a hold of, which is good because she's a little fragile. You cannot get tunnel vision in this ship because it's all too easy to be zipping around only to get blapped by a BB that was aiming at you while you weren't paying attention. Bayard's AA is decent enough, though it's not top tier. Overall, I give Bayard a 7 for survivability. She's hard to catch, but when caught, it hurts. Maneuverability is where Bayard shines. She's fast and she's very, very agile. You can build this ship out how you want. If you're willing to sacrifice a little bit of concealment, you can slap double rudder shift on her to make her even more agile and hard to hit. You can outrun destroyers in this ship and most other ships in the game. She's blissful to sail, and for that, I give Bayard's maneuverability a perfect 10. You'll find few other cruisers in this game that handle like her, or as good as her. Competitive. This category is highly subjective, but going through the list of other tier 8 cruisers, while I don't think she's the pinnacle of cruisers, she can certainly hold her own. The only major thing she lacks, which keeps her from being a top tier competitive cruiser in my opinion, is radar. And that's huge in a competitive setting. Personally, as a whole, I'd take her over a ship like Cleveland, but I still think I'd take the Cleveland instead of her because of radar, or the Wichita, or Montpelier, or Chapayev for that matter. Wow, a lot of tier 8 cruisers have radar, don't they? Still, despite this, I can see Bayard being used for certain teams, especially ones that prefer speed and flanking. That's what keeps her alive as an option. Again, think Henri Light. For that reason, I'll give her a 7 in the competitive category. She can be competitive, but the lack of radar really hurts her in this setting. Lastly, we have fun factor, and this ship has it. She is an absolute blast to play. She's fast, her guns are solid, she can start fires easily, her AP's good in a pinch, she's good against destroyers, she's good against battleships, her AP works fine against other cruisers. really, she's just solid overall. Again, you just need to be careful in her on account of her fragility. Don't get blapped. She gets a 9 for fun factor from me. So here's my final take. Bayard is a very good ship. If you're looking for a good cruiser at tier 8, you can't go wrong with her. She is very much Henri Jr. And we'll call her Henri IV. How about that? Either way, I can recommend her with no reservations whatsoever. It's one of the few ships I can. Overall, she gets a very solid and highly recommended 8.5 out of 10, but I'm going to do something I haven't done before in my reviews and give her a big bump up. We're going to round up and give her a 9 out of 10. She is highly deserving of this rating. She's just all around good. Anyhow, thanks for watching. As always, let me know what you're thinking regarding her in the comments. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already for more news and ship reviews. Zoop out.